Hey, and welcome to the Joie Miller podcast. I'm Joie Miller, and I'm excited that you have jumped on today. We're going to be talking about my self-reward system. I mean, this is a game changer. This is permission for you, not only from me, but like neuroscientifically, to give yourself some incentives during the day. I was talking to somebody and I said, well, one of the things that I do in my day is I've learned myself so well that I know how to reward myself and incentivize myself during the day. If you're going to live a life of discipline, you have to have those moments of reward to train yourself. We have a joke in my household, and it's nobody takes care of me like me. And my family knows that I know exactly what I like. I know exactly what I need. I'm very in tune in that way. And so I want to challenge you to listen to yourself, listen to your soul, listen to what you need. You will tell you what you need. And so as long as you're like under the submission of Christ, right? Like your desires aren't selfish. They're not evil desires. You're not like, hey, I want to, go do what I want to do and forget my family or whatever. It's good to listen to what you need. And so there is power in giving yourself some intentional celebrating moments in your daily routine. And so I really sprinkle these throughout my day. I sprinkle them throughout my week and my month. And so there is something that happens with us in the realm of our brain that is released when we have self-reward systems. There is a dopamine surge whenever we allow ourselves to have that cup of coffee at Starbucks, or when we light that candle, whatever it is, there is a neurological thing that happens in our lives that creates a trigger that what we are doing is good. So we are self-disciplined people. We let discipline decide. I look at my day, I look at my schedule, and I say, this is what Joey has already predetermined that Joey is going to do today. When I wasn't in the feeling mode, when I wasn't like, do I feel like exercising today? No, Joey already decided that Monday between 5 and 6 a.m. she was going to exercise. So I let discipline decide. What does that mean? I don't allow myself to make a decision based on my emotions in the moment. I've already predetermined that Joey is going to sit down and write from 8 to 9. When I sit down with my computer and I'm feeling like I don't really feel like doing this right now, I'm feeling a little bit like ADHD, like I want to get up and move. I'm like, no, I'm going to let discipline decide. Joey, outside of this moment of what she's feeling in the moment, has already decided what is best for her to see her goals move forward, to see her be obedient to what God has called her to do. So outside of that moment. So when we're living a way that is very self-discipline inspired, we have to have those moments where we also treat ourselves. So giving myself permission to sprinkle in, because I know me best, what would speak to me as I am being good at executing what I have put forth in my day. And so there's a motivation, a dopamine surge that happens when we give ourselves these small little treats throughout our day. And it's not like, it doesn't have to be something huge. It could be something, like I said, as small as a cup of coffee or as lighting a candle. So let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about giving ourselves self-incentives to reward ourselves in the circuit that happens in our brain when we do this. And so, so often we as women can get in the mode of like pushing and grinding and doing things for other people. Maybe it's cleaning the house and then taking care of the kids and all these things that we almost feel guilty about giving ourselves these little treats or rewards. And so today I would tell you, don't feel guilty about them. Actually know that they're necessary for you to move forward in fulfilling everything that God has for you in 24 hours. Not only fulfilling it, but not feeling drained at the end of the day, not feeling mad and resentful at the end of the day, but saying, you know what, I feel filled up. I feel like I have been well balanced today. I feel like I've done what I've needed to do, and I've gotten some little treats along the way. Because let me tell you this, not only is joy found in gratitude, but joy is found in these little places where we can find excitement in the mundane every day. There are things that you can do every day. I have a whole list of them that create this excitement in me about the joy of today. And so these little self-motivators release something in our brains that it's almost like a hit where we're like, wow, this feels good. There's joy being released in me in this moment. So, you need this if you're running a high pace, if you're keeping a schedule, you need these little moments in your life. So don't believe the lie that we're lazy or we're selfish if we're spending $5 on a cup of coffee, if your budget allows it. To give yourself these little rewards. So we design our day and then we align ourselves in a way to execute that day. And part of that is trickling in these little things. So let's talk about how do you design a self-reward system. Number one, if you're taking notes, is define what matters. Define your milestones. Like what is that big thing that you're defining within your day that if you do it, then you get a reward. Especially if you are staying at home, it's easy to reward yourself first. You're like, you know what? I'm just going to stay in my cozies and I am going to drink all the coffee that I want. That's opposite of self-rewarding. That's like, you know what? That's just being in the comfort zone of life. But as you start to order your life, as you start to put things in your planner and execute and let discipline decide how your day is going to run instead of your day deciding how you are going to run, you say, you know what? I did that hard thing. I put in a load of laundry. And after I did my load of laundry, I am going to sit down and I am going to have a breakfast treat. I am waiting for that moment when I am having my buttery croissant after I have done something that is hard. Maybe you get up and you exercise and you say, I'm going to drink water before my exercise, but after exercise, I'm going to have like a big old cup of caffeine. Maybe that is your reward. So it's creating a way to reward yourself by defining what that milestone or what that thing that matters is. What is the marker in your day that you say, that was hard, I need a reward. That was a lot of work, so now I need a reward in it. And so I will do this whether it is coffee, food, maybe it is listening to a podcast that I was looking forward to. I'll save that thing. What is it that brings you excitement, that you get excited about in your day? Don't let the day go by without being intentional to use these things to your advantage. Maybe it is coffee with a friend, and you know you're having coffee with a friend at 11 o'clock. So you're like, okay, that is my treat. So before 11 o'clock, I want to get these things done to mark a milestone so I can go have coffee and I can enjoy it and not feel guilty, and I can just be present in the moment. So define what that is, and then mark those reward points in your calendar. Hey, if you need a planner, I have the perfect thing for you. I'm so glad that you asked, even though you didn't, but kind of. It is the Joie Miller planner. I created this planner, first of all, because I wanted a one-stop shop for me. I wanted something spiritual that helped me stay organized, to move forward my goals, that had declarations, and it has it all in here. This planner will help you get your life in order. I love it because the dates aren't marked, the year's not marked. It can be picked up and you can start it whenever. There's nothing worse than wanting to start a planner and it's March and you're like, it's too late. It's not too late. Grab this planner. It will help you get your life on track. Go to joiemiller.co and pick yours up today. Create your calendar around it. I will definitely intentionally do that. Maybe I worked hard in the day, and then at 3 o'clock before I go home, I'm like, I'm gonna sneak in a TJ Maxx run because I just want to. And the kids aren't home yet, and I'm okay with doing that because I worked hard all day. What is that? It's a built-in reward for myself that it's filling me up before I then go home and switch modes. And now I'm back in mom mode and I'm taking care of everybody. And I had a little break. It's like my secret little break that I got a treat in between that moment that filled me up. Number 2 is this: set the reward criteria. So which is when and how. So the first one was like what matters. And then the second is when and how. When I do this, then this is my reward. So you're telling yourself this, so then you have a brain link that helps to create self-motivation within you. And so as you just say when and how you're going to do this, once again, define what feels good to you. What is that thing that fills you up? And it can change daily. Some days TJ Maxx would feel like a reward. Other days it would feel like a daunting task. And what I really want to do is I want to go home and I want to put on some worship music and sit with my afternoon cup of tea for 20 minutes in silence. That in that moment is what would feel good to me. So when you're creating these rewards or treats, you can change them daily. You can just put, okay, after I do this is, you can just put reward, and then you could fill in that morning what feels good today, what would feel refreshing to me today in this moment. So, and make the rewards realistic. Don't make it something that's way out of your time that you have, or your budget that you have, or that's not realistic for you to do. Make it realistic. Some days, like I said, it could be taking time to write a journal with a candle lit. It doesn't have to be elaborate. Start to celebrate the little moments. And when you do, you're going to be like, that sparked joy in me. And so then you start to use those things to define the when and how, the criteria for what your reward is going to be. Maybe you had a really hard week. Maybe it was a big emotional week. When my son got married, it was a great celebration, but I knew me and I knew I would be like going on an emotional roller coaster that week. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to say what would be within my budget, something that would be a treat to me this week. Now, this is funny because I didn't wait for somebody else to do it. I wasn't waiting for my husband or spouse to be like, hey, let's go do something for you. No, a lot of times we wait for somebody else to create that in us. And I was like, you know what? Within my budget, within which is fair for my family, I'm going to decide on a treat. And this is going to be my treat because it's a hard emotional week. And I'm sending off another child into the world. And so it's just a way to make myself feel better for doing the hard thing and doing it well. And so, you define that and you make sure it's realistic and make sure that it is available to you. Point number 3 is this: celebrate intentionally, not just internal, but external. Taking these moments to celebrate when you do something hard. Maybe it is celebrating around the meal table, and you can actually make it a tradition with your family. Like, hey, tell me something that was great today. Tell me something that you're celebrating today that happened that you want to share with everybody. And it becomes something great as you celebrate together. That in and of itself is a dopamine release. Because what usually happens is if we just let conversations go rogue, we don't think about the highlights of our day. We don't think about the good things, the wins, the things that we did were hard. We have a great way, especially as women, of cataloging everything we didn't do or the ways that we failed in a day. Taking intentional moments of celebration are a reward system in and of themselves, saying, you know what, this is a reward and I'm going to celebrate verbally out loud with people that I love. We do this actually as a dopamine antidote on vacation. In fact, my son just came home from his honeymoon and he said, hey mom, we call it rosebud thorn at the end of our vacation. What is that? That is creating a mindset that vacation's over, right? You're like, oh man, vacation's over. No one likes that. It's like a natural downer. Whereas like, what was the highlight? What was your favorite thing about this vacation? That's our rose as a family. We talk about that. What is your thorn? Like if you could have changed one thing, not that you're complaining, but like what's one thing maybe you would have done differently next time? And then your bud is something that you're excited about going home to. So it's good to, in that vacation mindset, to say, well, yeah, vacation's ending, but we're excited to get home to XYZ, whatever that is. And so having verbal, external, celebrating moments is so important, and it's a reward in and of itself. You can even, in your planner, you could take a moment and you could write down a daily win. At the end of my planner, I have it says what went right this month. Take a moment and celebrate something that went right this month. There is power in self-rewarding through celebration. Taking a minute and being like, you know what? Like, yeah, my mind wants to tell me I was a bad mom this month, but let's talk about all the wins. Like, all the wins I had this month as a mom. And it creates that happiness and that joy within you. And so make a list of practical reward ideas. Be intentional to list those things down. Like maybe there is a candle that you want that's expensive and out of your budget. And you say, you know what, at the end of this month, if I have done the hard thing, if I've been disciplined in grocery shopping, if I've cooked at home, if I've meal planned, my reward is I'm going to buy this a candle. The more we learn that everything in our lives, everything in our day, it's like an exchange that happens. Whatever action that we're doing, there is an exchange that is happening. And so when you learn that exchange is going to reward you, you start to do the hard things. And so this is just a little life hack. It's a secret that I do to self-reward, to self-motivate, to be self-aware, to know myself, to make a list maybe of items that are small, from like cost nothing to cost $5 to cost $10 to cost $50, whatever that is, that you can start to reward yourself within your week. You're going to find this is a great way to find needed motivation. Let discipline decide and then reward yourself for the hard thing. I'll talk to you soon on the Joie Miller podcast.